Hi, everyone. All right. So, I care about collective wisdom. I care about making stories come together from different perspectives, of getting people in a room and thinking collectively, because I think that that's how we're going to resolve things. So, and I'm a big idea kind of person, because I think that we need big ideas. But there's a problem. People sometimes suck. I sometimes suck. I bring my chaos and my negativity and my judgment, and other people do the same. So when we work together, it's funny, right? When we work together, we're trying to get people together in the room. After a while, we start to notice something interesting. People start to judge each other. People start to get scared of each other. People start to feel uncomfortable with each other. And that's a big problem when we're trying to come up with collective wisdoms. We're listening to people from different backgrounds, different perspectives, diversity in a room, and we don't feel comfortable with each other. Can you see what I'm talking about? This is a main issue, and it's getting, in a way, worse and worse as culture becomes more diversified, culture becomes more inclusive, culture becomes more welcoming, which is a good thing. But how do we make all of us feel safe enough, contained enough, in a capacity to generate the kind of wisdom we need to work in these complex systems that we're all living in? So, I've been doing this for many, many years, and I've noticed something interesting. That when there's too much change and not enough capacity, we see chaos. And it doesn't matter what the change is, negative, positive, neutral. And it doesn't matter how much capacity the group can handle. If there's not enough capacity, no matter what we're trying to work on, things get messy quickly. So you can get a group of people with great intentions, with great ideas, all focused on one project. But if it's moving too quickly, if there's too much change, and the people in the room can't handle that, you start to hear the eh. And with that, you start to see the judgments and the projections and the fear. So as a therapist, and this person's working with groups for many years, I started asking myself, what can we do about this? Because a lot of projects that I was part of, spiritual, within the tradition, the wisdom traditions, I've seen fall apart because of this issue. And I've seen, probably you're seeing it right now on social media and on other projects that I'm working on. So with this chaos, there's also something cool. There is creativity. So my question was, how can we make a new sense of the changes that we're seeing? How can we create new meanings of the chaos that we're experiencing? And I came up with 7 questions that can help you when you work with the groups that are dynamic and very diverse and have a hard time working together with these 7 questions. So the first question is the basic one I would ask anyone in any situation, even as a therapist. Can we handle this right now? We have a tendency as groups to overdo, sometimes overthink, sometimes believe that our capacity is actually equal to the ideas, and that's not the case. In some cases, when we work on our projects collectively, from a diverse point of view, we need to slow things down. We need to take it slower than we believe we can. I'll use a metaphor. Think about a really yummy cake. It's fantastic, but you don't want to eat the whole thing. That's gonna kind of be gross. So you want to eat small pieces. So how much cake can this group handle? How much food capacity can this project handle? And that's an important question to start with, and always come back to that. The second thing is, do we really know what's going on? When we work in groups, when we work in collective projects, there's an assumption that we're all on the same page. There's an assumption that we all know what we're talking about. Right? And we start to project it on people. And then about a few months later into the project, we start to go, oh, this is not what we're all on the same page? Oh, we're thinking different about this? So it's really important for the groups to keep on asking themselves, do we really know what we're all here for? And if we don't, are we humble enough to ask the questions to say, I actually don't know. I have assumptions, but I'm not sure. The third thing is, what do we stand on this topic that we're working on? I've noticed lately that when you come to work on collective projects, especially around wisdom traditions and spirituality, is that there's an assumption that I need to stand or agree with what the group is agreeing with. And if not, I might be excluded. I might not be the right person anymore. That is terrifying. Because if you want actual diversity and you want actual wisdom, we need every single person in this room to be able to speak their mind. Not be a jerk. Not scare people. Not make people feel uncomfortable. But speak their mind. It's so important. And it's important for us to say, on this topic, I disagree. And if it's triggering, we can go back to the first question. Can we handle it right now? Or maybe we don't know what we're talking about right now. But it's incredible how many times I've worked with groups and I've noticed that people are agreeing on in the collective spaces, but the minute that they go out of the room, there's cliques and disagreements and gossip and fear and judgment. And part of that is because we are afraid to speak our mind. And in some ways, there's a cultural milieu right now that people are even more scared to say what's on their mind. That to me is terrifying for wisdom. Because wisdom demands flexibility. It demands the willingness to listen to each other with an open heart, which is actually the next point. In my opinion, it doesn't matter what we're working on collectively. It doesn't matter. If our hearts are willing to be loving and compassionate and understanding. If I'm working on a project that's beautiful and it's about making the world a better place, but I'm angry and resentful and judgmental and make other people feel small, does it really matter? I've worked with groups on all sides of the political map where the ideals were fantastic. Great ideas. But there was so much judgment and mistrust and projection that things fell apart quite quickly, or people feel unheard or unsafe. So if we go back to the idea of wisdom, can wisdom thrive in an environment where I'm asked to do more than my capacity? I'm asked not to be critical. I'm asked not to share my true opinion. And I'm not allowed to bring my full experience. 3 more points. 1, how are we talking to each other? I mean, we're in Canada, so we're polite, which is fantastic, especially on this beautiful island. But it's surprising when people get passionate about topics, that quite quickly, the way we speak becomes from a non-violent to quite an aggressive and violent way of communicating. And the heart, the soul, the intention don't thrive when we feel attacked or we feel we have to be defensive. So when we feel like we're starting to talk to each other in an unkind way, judgmental, aggressive, which happens when we work together as groups, especially around, again, spirituality, wisdom, traditions, etc. Can we slow down to connect to our heart to say, am I in my heart? And then, am I in my truth? Am I willing to be humble? And can I actually have the capacity to do this right now? This could be relevant for whatever you're doing, relationships, work environments, but especially when working in environments where the diversity is profoundly high, the change is very dynamic, and maybe the capacity of the group is quite low. What can we agree on? As humans, as mammals, when we think about the way we're programmed to see what's wrong. we're programmed to see danger. Evolutionary speaking. We're not so programmed, it's hard for us to orient to what's pleasurable, to what's comfortable, and to where we agree on. Doesn't matter if you're a horse, a monkey, or a human, we all share these qualities. So it's a practice to look at what we agree on. It's a practice to look at what the common denominator is. And currently on social media, and in many groups that I try to help, there's a tendency to look at where we disagree, where we're different, where we're groups. I think we can have both. I think we can have incredible level of diversity and individuality and uniqueness and still find the common places where we do agree on. Because I think there's more than that, more than less. Now, any new insight from this process? If you do this with a group, great. If the insight that it's hard, even better. Because creating collective wisdom in incredible diverse groups is so difficult. It's easy when we're all agreeing on the same principles and values, right? And we all think about the things the same way, maybe political, or same political groups. It's profoundly difficult when you actually get diverse people with diverse ideas into a room to try to build a new way of seeing and understanding the world. The last point I'll say is, allow yourself to utterly fail. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I could celebrate all my failures, and there are a lot of them. And through these failures, I learned something really cool. Being human is hard. Being in relationship is triggering. Human beings are weird. And that's the only way, that's the only way we're going to resolve these current issues. But we have to come from this from a place of humility, of knowing that collaboration and building wisdom in incredible diverse environments is a hard thing to do. Thank you so much.